Another thing that I'm really fascinated by is Obama winning the election simply because there's only one type of human being on Earth that doesn't appear to have been seeded here by extraterrestrial races. In other words, most of the human beings on this planet are not local. The white person did not exist on Earth prior to about 10, 11,000 years ago. That's when we started to have the first interbreeding occurring that led to blue-eyed, white-skinned people.
Science will say that environment and climate is what did this over, thousands and thousands of years. Do you accept that at all? I guess not.
You can't explain why climate, for example, would lead to the physiological differences such that Asian people have very different looking upper eyelids, and the whole structure of the skull is different in shape. And you have African people that have much larger noses, much larger lips. The conventional explanation is that white people's noses are taller because it's cold weather and they cool the air down on the way in. Black people's noses are flatter because the air is hotter and they don't need to cool it down. That's very, very hypothetical. There's no real science to back that up. It's just a supposition.
So are you not positing the idea that those vehicles contain, beings who are, maybe like us?
Yeah, I only go along with government images. And if you want to know about people kind of thing, there is the ship that picked up the Voyager capsule at Alameda Naval Shipyard, and they have a picture there of I think it's the Apollo flight that Buzz and Neil were on. But anyway, there's one image there that shows black people getting off.
So people with dark skin getting off?
Not dark, black.
Black skin?
Really black, yeah.
Were they tall?
Yes.
Very tall?
Yeah.
How tall? Do you know?
Well, they got out the doorway. I don't know how high that is, but
well, what?
They say 7 feet would be probably a conservative estimate.
Now, you just heard it from a scientist who worked at NASA. You just heard it. 7 foot at least. That's a midget when you talk about these particular beings. The real height is 9 plus, 8.5 to 9 to 12 feet tall. Master geneticists. So you can imagine what their bodies look like. You can imagine how powerful they are. They were master geneticists, and they were the ones who originally upgraded human beings. These are the individuals where it says, let us make man in our image and after our likeness. So not only does the original man look like these entities or gods, but they act like them as well. Just like your mama says, you know what, you just like your father. Say absolutely, thank you for the compliment. Thank you for the compliment. Our fathers, our divine fathers and mothers come from the stars. Let me go ahead and go in, because a lot of people are talking about this, and this stuff is about to be revealed very shortly. And it's going to change everything. It's going to change everything. So you have many different life forms in this particular galaxy. You have insectoids. You have reptoids. You have everything you can, anything that can exist does exist. Process that. Crystals, certain minerals such as rubies. This is where the argon energy comes from. We talk about the raw power generators with the crystals, copper. All of these things were being mined on Earth, on the moon, and on Mars. You can research more about that. Earth, the moon, and Mars. They've been finding you know, cranes on the moon. They're finding things that look like a refinery on the moon. They're finding faces, African-looking faces on Mars. They just found pyramids bigger than Giza off the coast of under the water near Bermuda. So you have that, you have all of the mounds being in here. So it's a whole older world of advanced technology that existed way before all of this. Not only are they up to 12 feet tall, they have woolly hair, okay, just like they described Jesus, having hair like lamb's wool. And to be even more precise, that vision that John had in the book of Revelation was a vision of Melchizedek. That was the Ancient of Days, but it's all one and the same, because the Senenda, also known as Yeshua, or quote unquote Jesus, was after the order of the King of Peace, who is Melchizedek. So woolly hair, very large almond eyes, very muscular, very voluptuous, very beautiful, and powerful beings. So they were mining. People started to get upset with all of the hard work. People were not interested in doing that. So what happened, people would break off and just run off and live on the particular planet. It came to pass that they realized that there were two different species developing on the planet at the time. You had those called the Meldecs, who were in the sea. And this is where you get the idea of the green reptoid type of being with webbed fingers and things of this nature. And you had the Lulu Amalu, which is the primitive ones, the black-headed people, Lulu Amalu. And these were the original mammalian hominid species on this particular planet. Very closely similar to the Homo erectus that was developing on this planet. Homo erectus, erect meaning to stand upright. Not only did they have the exterior technology, such as what we have today, we have a lot of exterior technology, they had inner technology. Okay? Inner technology is the ability to do things without the external technology. Well, I don't have to call you on the phone, I contact you by way of the mind. I don't need to get on the train or have a car because I know how to dematerialize and things of this nature. Or to not even have to go there physically. And this is called remote viewing. This is something that humans could do. You can train yourself to do this as well. All of these things are now coming to pass. It's all being revealed. And the reason why I say it's all being revealed, because revelation happens in the mind. And a lot of people, they won't accept it until they see someone that they've been programmed, according to this matrix, according to society, say it. And then they come to Nazir Ra and he say, you know what, it's true. NASA just said it. This guy, he used to work for NASA, and he said that he saw 7-foot black people come out of a spaceship. So you're right. It's interesting, but it's all to be expected. The Anunnaki